Welcome to the Beyond Average podcast, where we go beyond revenue and talk about what really builds enterprise value, leadership, culture, customer connection, and scalable systems through the four intangible capitals. I'm Kristin Carlson, and I'm joined today by Zeev Fragachan, COO at Dynamic Integrated Security. So, Zeev, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Kristin.
Awesome. So just before we started, you said you're living the American dream. Could you
I
just share
am.
a little bit about your background?
I do live the American dream. I do believe in that. I'm an immigrant. I arrived in the United States some 20 years ago. I'm originally from Venezuela. When I was 16, I moved to Israel. I ended up serving 10 years in the Israeli Army and Special Forces. I'm a father of two. Moved to the United States some 20 years ago. I have a son which is 21. My daughter is 15. And I believe that I don't believe people appreciate enough how blessed we are in this country. I tell people every time when they ask me how I'm doing today, I'm living the American dream. You see, nobody want to kill me today. There are no rockets flying on my head. I don't have to make a line for bread, and I very much can say whatever I think in my mind, and everybody is happy and cool with that. And even if it's not, it's my right to do it. You should count your blessings, and I think we are very blessed in this country because you can pursue your happiness the way you want it, and the sky's the limit, and you are the architect of your own future. I think nothing exemplifies more that the United States.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And I agree with you. We are so blessed. I mean, would you be willing to share a story from your days in the Israeli army? I mean, what were some of the challenges or big risks you were taking on a daily basis?
Well, obviously, part of what I do in the Israeli army was search and apprehension of known terrorists in Gaza. I served 10 years precisely in Gaza in a unit that was tasked to look for the terrorists and these elements trying to essentially kill innocent people. And I think you when you go to extremes, you develop this sense of comparison with what we live in a society as we are in the United States. I'm not saying the United States is perfect. It have plenty of imperfections. I am an imperfect person, but seeing what is out there, I'll tell you again, we are blessed to be here. I and that's part of what we do in Dynamic Integrated Security. We are the largest provider of safe school officers in the state of Florida. We put the armed personnel in the schools to prevent a tragedy. We grow. We are in 9 states right now. We just opened an office in Mexico City. And we keep growing because the need is there. According to the FBI, 95% of the time the police arrive too late when the shooter already killed people and then commit suicide. If you go to statistics in the United States, the response from the police is between 8 to 11 minutes, and a school shooting lasts seconds. Sometimes you're lucky in last minutes. Um, and the reality is that if you don't have somebody who can actually face the threat and is trained and certified to do that, we lose in the battle. I also want to tell you that this is a phenomenon that is not just circumscribed to the United States. Um, I've been investigating the topic. I wrote 2 books about this, and I can tell you that this is a widespread phenomenon. Um, Unfortunately, our press did not report when this happened in Mexico or in Turkey or in Europe or in Asia or in China or New Zealand, Australia, and all these statistics are missed and misinterpreted, and people really think that this is a U.S. only problem, and this is a cultural issue. This is a 21st century um, uh, palpable a problem. Now, you can see, especially talking about schools, you can see the trend. If we saw what happened last year in the United Kingdom, there were 3,700 stabbings in schools in 10 months. Yes,
Oh
there's no
my
weapons
goodness.
involved,
Yeah.
but 3,700
Mm,
stabbings in schools are a big number. So what drive me to this is because I have two kids, and I always believe that I won't be able to live without them, and I feel the pain of the parents to see how they suffer. I have very good friends that their kids were victims. They didn't die in Stoneman Douglas, but they were affected because they have to walk on top of their dead friends to get out of the classroom. And those are scars that is going to be with them for the rest of their lives. So I
right.
think we deserve, our kids deserve for us to do a better job, a real try, because we are rushing about against time, and that is the big factor here. Now,
So who hires you? Is it the school district or has the state brought you in? What
both.
at what level are you? Okay.
Both. We start with the school with the charter schools, which is typically the underserved minority of the
Hmm.
spectrum, because they
Hmm.
have always been this battle between between the public schools and charter schools. Then we serve public schools too. We have school districts that rely on us. We also have tons of private schools. We have college, universities, essentially everything education we cover. Which is important to mention that this doesn't seem to try only to middle small schools or high schools. This can happen anywhere. As we see historically, it can happen in colleges and universities. It can happen in movie theaters. It can happen anywhere. Uh, and we need to understand why. There are many factors to this, and I do wholeheartedly believe that if it is impossible to cover 100% and prevent 100% of the tragedies, we probably can do a better job than we are doing right now if we work as a team, if we work as a society, than trying to understand the phenomenon.
Exactly. And you provide a training program, right, for the people that work for you?
That's right. One of the things that we do, and this is part of my history, I used to be a military advisor, mainly in South America, for the Israeli uh, military industries. So I have the opportunity to train many militaries, including Marines, U.S. Marines before they were shipped to Iraq and Afghanistan. And we try to come up with a program, and we have a very solid program. The work in conjunction with the law in Florida. We train and be certified by the sheriff's office, independent of the jurisdiction. But we also combine that with youth mental health first aid, CPR, EAD, stop the bleed, and we transfer part of those knowledge to the schools. It is imperative for us to work with the schools as a team. We want to make sure that teachers, in a school from the janitor all the way to the principal, they should be part of the team and know exactly what to do, because the safety of those kids are all our responsibility. I wholeheartedly believe that when a school shooting, whoever is in the school responding is the first responder. The police,
Right.
the ambulance, everybody else arriving later is emergency responders. But it is up to us to save the life of the kids, because we unfortunately we don't have the time to wait for anybody.
So you have officers that work for you that you're training, and then they train the people in the communities that you serve?
We train our officers to respond and neutralize the threat. We
Okay.
train the school staff to work with us to evacuate the casualties, to treat the casualties, to stop the bleed, to save lives. Also important to recognize the signs of mental health, of mental crisis, how to handle a crisis. because schools unfortunately are magnets for crisis. You see the wars of happen in society. You can see mental health issues. You see unfortunately the issues with divorce and legal battles for custody of kids. And then you have all these on top of a trend, a violent trend in the youth right now worldwide. And we have to. This is a team effort. This is something that we
Mm-hmm.
have to do, not just left for the police or authorities, but we as parents, educators, and security providers, we need to work in conjunction to make sure that the kids are safe because they haven't signed up to be in combat. Neither the
Right.
staff in the school, and we honor those safeties.
So how did you get this business started? I mean, how did you get going and build your
Well, I've been
business?
in the security industry since I left the military. I've been married 28 years with the best of my life, which is my wife. She's an attorney by trade, and as parents, we saw what happened in disbelief. I remember that I saw the interview with Deputy Peterson, who was being questioned by the police, and he says, "Frankly, listen, I'm leaving. I'm getting retired in 2 weeks. Those are not my kids. I'm not going to risk it because he was waiting outside until the police arrived. What kind of police officer you are? So you're
Mm.
telling me that they're not your kids. They don't care." And as a parent, that hit me very hard. That hit us very hard. I believe that if you are in school, you need to make a commitment. You see, when I protect in schools, those kids are my kids, and I will die for my kids, and I will kill for my kids, and I will eliminate the threat for my kids, and I take the risk for my kids because I can. There's no insurance in the world who can pay for the life of anybody. A second of your life, my life,
Yeah.
especially staff, the kids. Nobody can pay for that with money. Um, so we need to understand the value of that, uh, and 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 I think it's a mindset, and I believe that we find the right people to do that. 98% of all my employees are veterans and retired law enforcement. Um, we are not a typical security company in that regard. Um, our training regiment, our vision, and the technology that we put to work on this are second to none. And there's a reason for that. We saving lives. We can care less if these vehicles outside the school are burned out and total loss, even the structure. As long as I don't lose a single life, my mission was accomplished.
So do you have interview process or how do you attract the people that have that same passion and mission that you do?
Well, we go through a very extensive process. First, as I told you, we prefer to hire retired law enforcement and veterans who are being trained before. It's easier for us to put them through the training and take them to the level that we need to train. To give an example, legally in Florida, for example, in order for us to put somebody in school, you have to shoot at 25 yards at 85 percentile. A deputy in the street have to shoot at 15 yards at 75 percentile. It tells you something about the level of proficiency that you have to have with a
Mm-hmm.
weapon. We own every round and we shoot from those weapons, and we make sure that we only put down the threat for the kids. Um, Also, we go through a very extensive background check, fingerprints, psychological evaluation by a law enforcement psychiatrist. So we take every step to make sure that we put the right people with the right mindset. But again, that starts in the first interview when we ask them, "You have kids? Do you care about the kids here?" Because definitely this is a vocation. This is have to be a passion for you, and you need to love these kids because you got to risk your life for them.
Right. So you really want to make sure that they have similar core values that you
Correct.
have.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct. Correct.
How
And
big is your team?
we have right now in Florida about 700 employees. Um,
Well,
but again,
okay.
we extensively grow, and from all the way from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas. We recently start getting traction in Virginia, and we are growing. The need is there. Unfortunately, not other states, not all states have a mandate like we have in Florida to help a lot. Some people still believe that money is the factor here, and I keep thinking that again, this is not a money problem. This is a willingness problem. The
Right.
unfortunately the victim's mentality is going back and say, "This is never going to happen to me." If I go and I do interview extensively the victims and parents of the victims from Uvalde and Santa Fe and Stoneman Douglas and many others. And a common trend of all of them is that question that they ask, why it happened to us? What we thought that we will never happen here, not in my community.
Right.
But the
We all
reality is
believe
that you
that.
can't control that.
Yes. And I think we all believe that we live in a safe place, right? And
And
that
here
we
it's
shouldn't
not.
have to worry about that. Yeah. So leading a team of over 700, even in Florida, I mean, what what have you learned as a leader growing your company?
Well, I gotta tell you that we work with human beings, and we all have our expectations, and we all have our fears. We work with human beings, and human beings have their flaws. And I always believe that, you know what, something I learned is my best friends are not the ones who tell me how good I am, are the ones who tell me when I'm doing wrong. And believe me, when
Right.
I do something wrong, I don't do it at the bottom of my heart. I do it because I don't know any better. So humility is a big deal for us. Um,
Hmm.
we try to be the best with our flaws, knowing that it's utopic to be perfect, but we aim very high and we have very high standards. Um, it is always being nothing short of a honor and a pleasure, and probably the honor of my life to lead these people, because we believe in the mission that we have, which is save lives. Um, and ultimately, as a parent, I think we own those parents leaving those kids in school in the morning that they're gonna be safe. Then we gotta do everything in our power to make sure that they come back and they have a bright future, and they don't have to experience any violence until they at least they are adults and they go to their lives. So we create a better society like that. We wholeheartedly believe, and I think it's not just the honor of my life, but I do believe the church teach me a lot about about humility and about mission.
Excellent. Excellent. So if you were to give some advice to somebody starting a company, what advice would you have for them?
You see, people believe that everything has to happen immediately. That you open a company and you got to be accomplished and rich and famous and glamour and private jets and everything else. And the reality is that um, having a business and being an entrepreneur and having your own business is a different set of challenges. The level of stress, the level of anxiety that you have to endure, because you are probably the last one who's going to collect a check. You want to make sure that everybody gets fit, collect the check, the check, and you pay all the bills and everything else. And if something is left, that's the moment that you see the money. Have that in mind, knowing that my wife says very well, and I teach this to my client, to my employees, and to my kids. Discipline beats talents any day of the week. So you
Amen.
have to be not just disciplined but persistent. It doesn't matter that the horizon. You cannot see the end of this. You will be there. You just need to keep pushing, and that is the reality. You need to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Don't give up. Um,
Resilience.
Resilience, exactly. That will be
Yes.
it.
Excellent. And just to wrap up, could you share a success story with us? A success story from your company?
Well, I don't want to scare your audience, but last year we start using and we innovate a lot. We are the first company who actually bring a weapon detection dogs to schools. Last year, our one of our animals confiscate 27 weapons inside
Oh,
inside schools, mainly in Florida. Um, we implement new body cams. So we have here to my right, we have a very big and robust command, control, and communication center. I did not invent the hot water. I just use what I learned in the military. So it's easier for
hmm.
me to control my operations from a command center. So our body cams are transmitting in real time, real video, when they pull out their weapons or they need to press the button, so we can see what's going on with better communication for that, and that's something that is very been very successful for us. We also controlling right now not just the cameras of the school, but the exits and entry, so we can evacuate the school remotely from here. We partner with a company called Safe Evac, and it's been a game changer. So you know what, in our business this is a never end business. We improve and we get the technology and then we make it better, and then we invest and reinvest in technology, and then we invest in technology to never end, because we need to be at the edge of our business, the edge of the spear. We need to make sure that we get first, and if if the shooters, if the terrorists, and everybody is in the first floor, we need to be in the floor number 10. We need to be 10
Hmm.
floors ahead of everybody. So
Right.
so that is the secret sauce in this, and that's the success, and we have, and that's why we're growing, because we innovate. We try to be the best on what we do, and second to none. That's the philosophy on success. Is then you, I guess you have to be obsessed of what you do. That
Exactly.
will be the word, obsessed to what you do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
Thank you,
Zeev,
Kristin.
and just making our world safer. We truly
Thank you.
appreciate it. All
We
right.
really appreciate your the time for actually tell you our story. Thanks.
Awesome. Have a super day.
You too.